Thanks, Kinky. I appreciate it. Can you hear me now? What a dumbass. See, this is why. There we go. Yeah, I see it now. Now it's all coming in muted. So again, this is a lobby chat. So this is just I just opened this up because Ghost couldn't go live. That way, the guys out in Vegas could hop in if they want to. There is the Hangout link is in the Gun Channel chat, MidnightRangeTM. Yeah, I did have it muted. I had this the audio and the visual off for a while because I had it set up and I was running around the house. So if anybody wants to jump in the Hangout links there. Just keep it Kingpin. Don't give Midnight a wrench midnight. Okay, I won't give myself a wrench. So if anybody wants to hop in, have a good time, keep it civilized, and keep it Pro 2A if possible, 2A chatter, and maybe some of the guys from SHOT Show will be hopping in here. I sent emails to Clover and Link and all those guys. I'm not quarking Night Strike. Night Strike's not on for an hour. I'm just taking a ghost spot, but this will be on, until I go to bed maybe. Okay? Maybe I'll hop back on later, but we'll see. So you guys have a good night, and maybe I'll see you in a little bit. Bye.
What the hell?
Hey, Giz, keep everybody in line.
It's just you. How am I going to keep you in line?
I just gotta get the little kid to bed here, get his teeth brushed, and all that jazz. So, hey, buddy, say hi to Gary. Say hi, Gary.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi. How you doing?
Yeah.
He says, "How you doing?"
Good. How you doing?
He says, "Good. How are you doing?"
I'm doing pretty well, thank you.
He's doing good. We're getting ready to go brush some teeth. So I'm going to
Awesome.
mute you, and I'll you guys, if anybody else wants to jump in, jump in, no problem. I just did this in case any of the guys out there from SHOT didn't have laptops, and they wanted to hop on here and talk and bullshit or do whatever they want to do. So, if anybody comes in, they come in. All right. I'll see you in a little bit, bud.
Yup. Trust me, Black Cat, nobody wants to hear me singing a song on here. Calaveras says he doesn't hear anything. I think there's a problem with his speakers. So while we're waiting for our host, is everybody having a great day today? Everybody excited about SHOT Show? Did you know that High Point is introducing a new pistol? Ooh, exciting stuff. Black Cat Outdoor says, no, I'm not. He's not what? By the way, if you're just joining, if you come over to the Gun Channel site and go on to Midnight Range's channel, there is a Hangout link. I can't post it over on the YouTube side because, well, we'd be overrun, to be honest. Grim90 says, I heard bacon pancake. Bacon pancake. Black Cat says, new High Point. Trailer parks everywhere are now rejoicing. Well, right now, all they have is a prototype that was made with a 3D printer. I saw TFB's presentation today with the representative from High Point. He had the demo model, and it kind of just looks like a C9 that's been dressed up with a new set of grips and forward slide serrations and threaded barrel, slightly tapered top to the slide. It's not quite so squared off. And the possibility of double stack mags, I believe. But it doesn't look that much different than a standard High Point, to me anyway. Travis P11 has a video on it, as well as TFB. Well, Psycho, it's not my chat, so you'll have to beg that out of Midnight when he returns. He's taking care of some parental duties right now, so I'm kind of babysitting the chat. Gary talking about his next gun purchase. I don't know when that's going to be. I hear that requires money. What doesn't Travis P11 have a video on? Well, you got a point there. Ohio 45 ACP says, did you see Gun Gal's Arminthia ringing steel on range day? Yes, I did. That's pretty cool. She gets right in there and does stuff. She's having the time of her life out there.
Funny thing about that High Point is it's got a threaded barrel, so you can put a suppressor on it. But the slide's so goddamn big, they didn't need to put suppressor height sights on it. Did you see that? It's such a big boat, man. It doesn't need, they didn't have to put any bigger sights on it to get over the suppressor that you put on it. It's still a regular.
Yeah,
it's the regular size.
supposedly you can take off this rear sight and install a Picatinny rail on there. And I'm thinking, okay, somebody's going to put $500 worth of equipment on a sub $200 pistol.
Yeah, for real. You're going to pay more for the tax stamp than you do for the damn gun. That's craziness.
Reminds me of the guys in high school that used to buy $200 cars and put $500 worth of stereo equipment in there.
Yeah, or rims. $5,000 rims on a $500 car.
Oh, yeah. Midnight, or Black Cat, that's me. You're going to hurt Midnight's feelings.
Well, I can't see the chat while I'm getting him ready, so I'll just be listening. So as long as you don't repeat it, it won't hurt.
Midnight.
I see it. No, I'm at the computer right now because I had to unmute. But
I see.
Yeah, we don't listen to people like that. You know, those people.
There are people, yeah. Kentucky Fried Movie would be more appropriate. Well, all righty. Midnight's chat hosted by Chicken Man. Screen share a movie on here. Oh no, we can't do that. Could play some music on here, but that'd get him in trouble too, and we don't do that. What do you mean, those people? Yeah, I know, right? Once again, you guys can join. Come over to the gun channel side. Get on Midnight Range TM's channel. There is a hangout link right there. You too can be part of this spectacle of entertainment. That is Midnight Range TM's live shot show open lobby. Doing our best to quark hit or miss, which starts here in about 27 minutes, which I'm also supposed to be on. Seven Wonders is out there, and he says about to give sub-Q fluids to my CRF kitty, but I'll be listening. Okay. Kinky says he assumed our gender. He needs a strike on his channel now. But if he gets a strike on his channel, then there won't be a closer. Who hosts Hit or Miss? Seven Wonders asked. Well, that would be Night Strike typically. Used to have Smeggy as a co-host, but lately it's been pretty much Night Strike and whoever else joins. That's Hit or Miss, Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Psycho says, much too shy to be in a stream. Hey, you get over that after a while. Carrie's like, Gun Channel's Morgan Freeman narrating the chat. Well, I don't know if I can do a Morgan Freeman. Maybe I'll do my best. Grim says, Linky no worky for me. Sorry, dude. Can't help you there. It did work for me. I'm pretty sure we can cram more than 2 people in here.
I can send him a link here. I'll email him one. Links. I'll send one out to him. He'll come in here. He's going to come in here and screw it all up, though. He's going to make you look bad.
It's going to be a competition between you and Night Strike. Because Hit or Miss goes live here in about 20 minutes. So.
Well, that's fine. I'm just going to keep it open. It's open. It's open. You know what I mean?
Which
somebody wants to.
I've already got a link for that. But. I was going to say I can't be in both places, but technically I could. I have an iPad right next to me.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't quit your day job, Gary. I didn't quit my day job, but I did get sent home early today because of the upcoming snow and ice. They let us off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is 3.5 hours ahead of time. Sweet.
You were all sad on Sunday night that you had to go to work, and you only had to work a day and a half.
And the great part about it is the last part of the day, I worked in an off-site facility, which is only 15 minutes from my house. So come quitting time, I only had a short drive home. Then today I worked the entire day there. So I got to work and make money, but not do my regular job. So I didn't have to answer phones. In fact, I was in a room all by myself for most of the day. The saddest competition ever. I want to see a Night Strike midnight foot race. Well, what are they racing after? What could you set up that both Night Strike and Midnight would race for?
I guarantee it would be a race to the death. Whichever one of us died first loses.
Travis wants in on that. A Slim Jim at the end. Hey, there you go. That's not a bad idea, Travis. Hey, Travis, if you want a link, come over to the Gun Channel site and jump in Midnight Range's channel. There's a Hangout link there. Or we could email you one if you like. Then maybe there won't be so much awkward dead air in here. The first time I had a live chat, I actually didn't have people in the Hangout. I did it all by myself for an hour. And I found I can't talk for an hour. Midnight used to do that all the time with his show. He went for several weeks or months before he ever got a computer that he could do full-fledged hangouts on and have a guest and stuff. And then he went big time. And the rest, as they say, is history. And the monster that is Midnight Range TM was duly born. But since I have the floor, and the ceiling for that matter, let me tell you about another show that comes on Gun Channels. It comes on Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. It's called Foul Territory. And we have lots of guests on that one. Speaking of guests, let me introduce to you the wonderful man from the great state of Nebraska, Travis P11.
You know, I'm just on a mission to tell the world about inexpensive firearms, Gary. That's all.
You are the point man for High Point, as it were.
So what do you think? Should we go ahead and order one of those when they come out next year? Or what? You want to get one?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I'd like to see one, but
I want a 10 millimeter. Man, I'll buy that in a heartbeat, dude. I've said that before.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind shooting the 10.
They did a 10 millimeter with the threaded barrel, some tall sights on it. Dude, that'd be so money. For under $200, I'd buy one for every member of my family.
Well, it's like Midnight said they put that threaded barrel on there, and the slide is so high on those things you really didn't even need elevated sides. You
Yeah,
wouldn't have to worry about seeing over the suppressor anyway.
This is true. This is true. No, yeah, I just been watching all the videos that have been posting over there. I'm going to be jumping into Night Strike's chat here pretty soon. I didn't even realize you're going to doing an open lobby. So what's going on with this lobby tonight? What's this one all about?
I believe he said, I missed the first couple minutes, but it's a live SHOT Show open lobby, just to have a place where people that are at SHOT Show can jump in if they don't want to start their own hangout.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Cool.
So I believe it's the kind of thing where you can come and go.
Yeah. Well, I've been making a ton of shots.
Unlike you, I got to jump over to Night Strikes too here in a minute.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say I've been making a lot of SHOT Show videos, but I'm not actually at SHOT Show.
Yeah, I know. Are you getting this storm that's coming through?
We got a bunch of, what was it? Sunday into Monday was really nasty with the ice. And then Monday night again, last night we got it, but it was real thin. Then got some snow this afternoon. It all developed east of us. But Monday was pretty bad. Everything was completely glazed. I mean, I could barely take the dog for a walk. We ended up just cutting through yards, along the sidewalk in order to have traction. Even in 4-wheel drive, I mean, I put it into 4 when I backed out of my driveway just to get going. I mean, I was still kind of like a hog on ice with that thing. And I mean, I wasn't like punching it or anything. It was just everything was coated,
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't get the snow. I think the snow was over by Lincoln and Omaha and straight south by you guys. You guys got it worse than we did.
Well, see, when I woke up this morning, it was around 40. The temperature didn't drop to. They sent us home early at 2:00 from work.
Yeah, I heard you saying that earlier. Yeah,
and it was falling pretty quickly at that point. It was 35 when I left work and 33 when I got home. So it was getting cold quick. And I just got a text from. We've got this notification system out at work. I don't have to go in until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So
hey, there you go. I know my wife got to go in late too. I was kind of worried about that. She's got a little bit of a commute in the mornings. Yeah, dude, we barely cracked 20 the last 2 days. I mean, Sunday was, I want to say like 45 degrees. It was a beautiful Sunday. No, Saturday was in the 40s. Sunday was in the 30s. And now we've barely gotten above. Right now it's 15. But it's going to get colder because I think the clouds are going to blow through and then it's going to clear out. The rest of the week we're supposed to be in the 30s and 40s. I'm pretty happy about that. Man, I'm dying to get out to the range right now. I've been out there for about 2 weeks. So it's just like, oh, man.
Oh, I just got an upset alert. K-State's up on number 14, Texas Tech. Ooh.
Hey, speaking of upsets, man, I'm sorry about your Chiefs, man. I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, yeah.
You know that Mahomes, though, your quarterback's got a lot of potential, man. He's a good kid.
Yeah, he's going to want paid next year.
Yeah.
He's still got a rookie salary. He ain't going to accept that next year.
I think he's got a lot. I mean, he just needs to grow a little and understand the position better and know how to deal with the pressure. But he can pull through when he needs to,
He's got a lot of poise, and he's been learning fairly well for, being really pretty much his first season.
Yeah.
I mean, he started 1 game last year, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I mean, I gotta be honest, I don't follow a lot of NFL anymore. I just don't have time. I mean, I'm either doing gun videos or in lobbies or the wife and whatnot. So it's hard for me to follow sports like I used to. I used to watch a lot of football. I still got to bitch about this. I still think the Saints got screwed.
Oh, I know the Saints got screwed.
That was one of the worst calls in the history of pro football I've ever seen in my life. Is like there's no more dignity or respect left in NFL after watching that. I mean, that was terrible. Especially for a game that can determine if you go to the Super Bowl. That alone is have you seen the videos, the reaction videos on YouTube?
No.
For Saints fans, oh my God, people are throwing their televisions off balconies. There's a guy that took his and put it out in a fire pit and set it on fire. Some other dude like punched his screen and the TV just like exploded. It was bad. Like people were filming their family members after the game to film their reaction,
If you saw my Twitter feed, I pretty much meant what I said there. I said, congratulations, NFL. You got the matchup you pretty much orchestrated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I mean, It's really not hard to figure out. You got a heck of a lot better TV market out in LA and in the New England area than you do the Midwest and or, Louisiana.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you get kind of tired of it. Poor officiating and or, flat out cheating, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
There needs to be some sort of replay system in the playoffs where every play is reviewable, even pass interference. I don't care, at least in the last 2 minutes of a game.
Oh, dude, it gets so
Secondly,
bad. It gets
the
awful.
overtime system needs to be completely redone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, both teams need to be able to possess the ball at least
See,
once.
wasn't it that way? There was guaranteed 4 downs like on the 20-yard line. Isn't that something they used to do?
No,
Maybe it's in high school they do that or college. There's
high
4
school and
downs.
college does that, and I wish they'd adopt that. That's a fair way to do it.
Yeah, each side gets to go, and if you score, then you get to do another overtime. And I don't know if it ever ends up being a tie after like double or triple overtime. I think if it goes to triple, then after that it's just considered a tie or something. I don't know.
No, I've seen college games that the score goes into the 60s or 70s.
Oh, okay.
They just keep playing.
Keep doing it. Okay,
Well,
okay.
I think after the first 2 times, if both teams score like, touchdown, extra point, after the third time, they have to go for 2.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's what they should do.
Right, man. So has anybody checked in on this lobby at all from SHOT Show?
No, not yet.
Okay. Looks like the guys are having fun out there.
Oh, yeah. We were
I
talking about Clover's wife, ringing steel and stuff like that. Said he's having fun. And then Ghost, he's been doing videos, with these people, that people, everybody seems to be having a blast, which is great.
My father said that I was talking to him about going out there next year because I burned my 2 personal days. I could do it the second, third day or third and fourth, and then just take a leave day or whatever. Trying to talk my dad into going, and he loves going out to Vegas. And he goes, well, "What am I going to do?" I said, "You can be my cameraman."
There you go.
It's like, you could be my wingman, bro. Well, Sandhills would be my wingman, but Sandhills should be able to apply pretty soon and get himself in if he wants to go too. So my dad knows the Vegas area really good. He goes there him and my stepmom go there about every 3 months. They spend a week there, and they go to all the shows and stuff. And they got friends that live out in that area.
I've been out there twice ever.
Yeah, I've never been to Las Vegas or Arizona. I'd love to go to Arizona this summer too. Hang out with G and Heavy and those guys. That'd be fun.
Everybody out in the chat, if you want in on this hangout, go to Gun Channels and go on Midnight Range TM's channel page. There is a hangout link there.
Yep.
And you can jump right in. I'll make sure it's... Oh, let's see. Oh, he's out there asking for a link. Okay. So, I can send him one directly because he sent me a direct message over in Gun Channels. We can do that too. I just don't want to post it in the YouTube lobby or we'll have everybody in here.
I'll let them all in.
Let them in. What's up,
Let 'em
Reaper?
all in. What's going on? Yeah,
What do you think of this Midnight Range chat without Midnight?
Oh, that's okay. I'm glad you guys sent me all that icy weather today. It was so awesome getting out of work.
You like that stuff?
I
There's more coming.
Dude, it was like an ice rink. Looked like someone purposely pulled a prank on everyone's car in the parking lot.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was pretty bad. I'm like, oh, great.
And where are you at now?
I'm up here near Chicago.
Oh, heck, you should be used to cold weather up there.
Oh, I don't mind the cold. It was I live like 3 minutes from work. It took me 10 minutes to get the ice off my car for it to warm up. I'm like, if I could have just made a little hole, I would have just drove like that down the street.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I don't have a garage at my house, so yeah, when it snows or there's ice, I get to go out and warm up the car and clear it off.
Yeah, so.
Grim, I thought for some reason I kept thinking you were in New York.
Oh my
I know
goodness.
John's in New York. You sound like a New Yorker when you talk, so I thought maybe you're a New Yorker or something, Yeah.
Oh, no, New York. No.
Nah,
Oh, man.
we ain't got no John Z over here.
I would have definitely moved.
I gotcha.
I mean,
But Illinois gun laws are pretty restricted too, aren't they, or not?
they
Other than
weren't
Chicago?
bad. Yeah, well, no, because even in Chicago, it's just the 10-round mag limit technically.
Yeah.
But I mean, even then, most wouldn't ask you to see your firearm anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but it's that new this FFL licensing thing through the state now that's going to screw us. Because technically now you do your 4473, and from what it seems like, they also have to send that information to now the state. And technically, it seems like, I got to look into it more, they'll know what I purchased. If I purchase something, they will know what it was.
Yeah.
It won't be like the 4473 getting filed at the FFL and that's it. No, they're sending them, your copy of your FOID or whatever, and that, yeah, it's going to be, home-based FFLs would have to pay $1,500. I don't know if that's a year. I mean, and everyone around here, I don't know. It's going to be a big mess. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I was shocked that the Supreme Court's actually, even though it's not going to do much, is going to look at that carrying your firearm out of your house in New York. Almost feels like a concession.
I mean, how are you even supposed to practice it if you can't even do that,
Well, you can, but technically, I guess it was to the range and only within your area. And
oh, my God.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, I wish they would have took something a little more, I don't know. It seems almost like
less restrictive, Yeah.
Yeah, but it just seems like they just took a case just to take a case almost. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just to say they've taken a, Second Amendment case. What's up, Squib?
Squibby.
Yeah. When you go into gun channels and you click on Midnight's little avatar on the left, it says you do not have access to this page. I had the same problem with Vanessa Kitty's page last night. And it's been like that as long as I've been on gun channels. There are certain members you cannot get on their page.
I can't either.
Squib, that's weird because maybe you have to follow it and like it in order to have access to it.
But no, he's
How do you follow it and like it if you can't get into it?
Well, I thought you could at least.
If I go to my own profile and then go to join channels, I can get to it that way. That's the only way I can get into it.
In my profile, I used to be able to add and delete pictures. Now I cannot add or delete pictures either.
Well, there might be some stuff that G's pulling back on to save some space or cost or something. Is that a possibility or not? I mean, you have a limited amount of
I can't
storage
even
space
delete
for
one
photos
to add another. See what I mean?
No, there might be some problems with the page. I don't think anything's being restricted necessarily.
I had the same thing. I tried and clicked.
Well, when you don't have, I'm gonna leave it alone. Never mind.
Guys, I'm gonna head on over to Night Strike's podcast here. Yeah. Get in there really quick.
He's going in a few.
But anyway, I'll see you guys over there. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right. See you guys later, man.
I need to head over there too. So Squib and Grim, you guys are in charge of keeping everybody entertained.
Oh, great! You grab the dustpan, I'll grab the broom.
Go get the switch.
Don't forget Sandhills here in about
an hour and 5 minutes.
Hour and 5 minutes.
That's going to be it right there. That's going to be the episode that breaks apart the Gun Channels family.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's nice knowing you guys.
It's going to be a blood sport.
Yeah. That is
it's gonna be a foot race with a death match at the end.
Travis,
it's gonna be fun moderating.
Yeah.
Do you guys know if anyone took him up on his on the other side?
No, I don't know. He advertised it enough. My God, I think I saw him on some billboards on the interstate. Hey, be on my.
It kept coming up.
I want you to debate with me. No, I think it's awesome that he's doing that, though. I mean, the fact he's going out there active. I hope he finds somebody.
Yeah, I was hoping.
I mean, and the fact that, and he's the kind of person that's not going to put up with us. It's to have an adult dialogue with somebody. It's not to turn it into a screaming match, you know. And you know what? He wouldn't be afraid to boot you out if you get out of line. And I mean, he you know, that's his style, man. He's not going to let you sit there and verbally abuse somebody that's a guest on the show, you know.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
And that's, you know, you want to have a debate about it and try to look at both sides of an issue. This is something we need more of because we don't get it. We really don't.
No, we do. Yeah, we need. Well, at least hear the other perspective, you know.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then just, you know, like, this is kind of crazy, but you know, my favorite classes I took when I was in college were my anthropology classes because they made you look at why people would do what they do and take your viewpoint and compare your viewpoint to theirs. It's like, well, why would this tribe do this or why would this group do that? It's the craziest thing in the world. But then you would see it why they would do it, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I don't agree with it, but I understand. You know, I mean, that kind of thing kind of opens your mind a little, and that was just something that always kind of caught my attention. So I don't know, but all right, I'll see you guys later. Okay?
Yeah, I think Night Strike went live already.
Oh my God, we gotta go. All right,
We're
we'll be
in
back.
trouble.
Live already. Whoa, they're dropping like flies. All right. And so begins the awkward silence. I wish I could see the chat now.
I mute off and on because all the background noise. I'm at work. So.
Oh, yeah. I know it gets noisy when yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's just it. When I'm in my truck, you guys don't hear the engine. You hear, right? And it sounds like I'm in the engine bay. And then you got the road noise on top of that. And until Saturday, you had the thump, 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 thump of my left front axle U-joint going bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm there, you know, I normally talk loud anyhow, and then you add some caffeine, and then you bring up a subject that I'm triggered on, and my voice amplifies like 3 times even more, and the people are like, why is he so angry all the time? It's like, dude, I'm not angry. You want to see angry? I'll show you angry. You won't like it. It'll be like, you know, the Hulk, except I don't turn green, and I'll let you know. Yeah.
I don't understand that. I mean, I know you talk loud, you get into it, but angry, come on now.
No. See, and that's just it. But some people like this. I want to talk soft, and I'm just like this, and trying to get my point across, and can't you hear me? And it's like, no, I can't fucking hear you. Could you speak up? I can't. Okay, I'm deaf for one. All right, that's why I'm on shooting with disabilities, because I'm deaf. I don't know. But I don't hear very well. But then you got people who don't talk well, or their mic sucks.
They just don't speak up. That's the problem.
And you know, and then I'm too loud, and then whoever's hosting it, it's like I've told everybody before, hey, full disclaimer, turn my volume down all the way and turn everybody else up. You know, and then I've gone on some shows where the person hosting the show does that automatically. It's like I want to hear the sound of my own voice, so I'm turning myself up and turning everybody else down. So then I sound normal on those shows. Yeah, but when I'm trying to talk over a machine that I mean, like right now there's a 2.5-inch stainless steel line that's about 28 feet above my head, and it has small plastic pellets running through it. There's air pressure just pulling it through, like when you're at the drive-thru at the bank and you put the little container and it vacuums it through.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Except it's going from one end of the factory to the other. In the back, we've got these big silos full of all the plastic pellets. So right now, I don't know if the mic's picking that up over my voice, but to me, it sounds like rain. It sounds like rain hitting the roof.
There's barely any background. I just hear your voice, and actually, to me, it sounds pretty quiet.
Well, I am in the warehouse area right now because that's where the maintenance area is. As soon as I go through the overhead door, I'm out there. We have 16 injection molding machines running.
Oh, yeah.
And then on some of those machines, there's extra equipment, and start adding in the noise. Like I had somebody say that they thought I was in the factory at the end of the Terminator movie with all the hydraulic presses that crush the Terminator, and it was actually a robot, and it was the electric servos that move the robot left and right, up and down to go in, grab the part out of the machine, and set it on the conveyor. But they're like, are you terminating a Terminator? So. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of like, you ever watch any of Sarge's shows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can hear his kid's voice loud and clear. His kid is behind him, probably on the other side of the room. You can hear his kid's voice loud and clear over Sarge's voice because that's what the mic picks up. It's just weird how the microphones work like that.
at Sarge's, sometimes I wonder if like, is he sitting like in front of your desk or next to you? You can just hear him giggle sometimes,
Oh, his son?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way the mic is. Even though Sarge's mouth is in front of the mic, it'll pick up noise, 10, 15 feet behind him, which is, and I've got a mic on my earbuds, and it does that too. It'll pick up the machine 10 feet behind me, and I've got the mic on my neck. I've got it, let's see, where the hell is it? It's right here on my neck, so it's about 3.5, 4 inches away from my mouth, but it'll pick up something 10 feet behind me.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't know. So what's new besides our lovely weather? And I think we sent it your way. I don't know if we got the freezing rain yet.
Yeah, so I got a notification on my phone saying that we had a weather advisory until tomorrow. I'm like, what weather advisory? What the hell is? And I go out, and I had to walk next door because we use reverse osmosis water for all the batteries and everything. The scissor lift, the forklift, anything with a lead acid battery, right? And they've got an RO system in the plant next door. So I grabbed 3 water jugs and went over there and almost fell as soon as I got out the door. As sheet of ice all over everything. It's that the rain's freezing when it comes in contact with the ground or the snow or whatever.
Yep. Oh yeah, had that when I got off work today. It was so lovely.
Nice. So you had to drive in it already.
The driving wasn't bad. It was the 10 minutes it took to get the sheet of ice off of my wind. I couldn't dig in, you know what I mean? Enough to get it. And the car wasn't, it's the little Nissan I got now. And I only live, like I said, 3 or 4 minutes away. I'm like, oh, this is taking... My car was on longer than it would have been just to, normally drive home.
Maybe it's just because how long it had a chance to sit there, because after I came back from the next door, I grabbed the salt bucket and made multiple trips outside and started salting everywhere so that, the people that work here don't fall going out to their cars, and third shift don't fall coming into the building. And I walked around my truck and I grabbed my wiper blades and I shook them and put them in the up position. And the ice just fell right off. So maybe it hasn't had a chance to build up over here yet.
Yeah, now it's looking at the camera, just getting a light snow. But that's about it. Not too much going on.
Yeah, and then somebody said it's going to be 41 and rainy tomorrow. It's going to melt everything, I guess.
I don't know right now. I know the temperature went up. Actually, so it's warmer now than it was this morning. It's about 30. What are we at right now? Yeah, we're at a little over 32, and this morning it was about 5 degrees all day. Last couple hours, two hours, it's warmed up. So.
Well, I'm more concerned about my wife having to drive in the morning because she's got a front-wheel drive car, whereas I've got a 4x4 truck. So.
Yeah.
Plus, when I'm on the road, there isn't as much traffic driving home as opposed to she's driving to work, and when everybody's driving,
I was going to say everybody's driving, and
yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully not.
Overall, though, it hasn't been a bad January compared to most Januaries.
No, it hasn't. I mean, this past weekend was about pretty much the coldest we got. It was almost at 0. We were at probably -5 or something. Which isn't too bad for January, I guess.
Yeah, I'm used to getting about 2 weeks of that.
Yeah. So 2 days of that was about it. And then today the freezing rain and whatnot. And that's about it. I haven't done much. The only thing I was looking at, I was telling them, and I haven't looked into it, is one of the cases the Supreme Court will end up taking. The one from New York. So, but I got to look into it.
The one from New York?
Yeah, I seen it on my feed this morning while I was at work. I just didn't want to click on it on my work computer. So, but they were when was it? So New York, you can have your pistol, I guess, at home. They take it to the range. The city of New York doesn't, but I guess you can't take it anywhere else. So I guess that's the one that was the Supreme Court is going to look at.
Yeah, see, then that kind of goes away from the whole bearing thing. So
Yeah, to me, it was just, I don't know. Any other cases out there that we'll see.
well,
So I guess that was the other one.
Sean and I were.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Sean and I were talking about this one day about, as far as the wording, what it meant legally, and he said bear means to carry. And I'm like, well, no, I think bear means not just not just on your person per se, but I mean, it could be, yeah. So I don't think it limits you from being able to take it somewhere legally, but I also don't think it limits you physically to what can you lift, what can you strap on your body, what can you cradle in your arms, something like that. So I've heard some proposed laws that are based on that wording. You almost have to get a dang law degree to understand this stuff. But I've heard some proposed laws that have said that things along the lines of if you can't physically carry it, or you can't carry more than so many. I mean, it's just like you can only be so encumbered, right? I mean, if you have 15 and you can only physically carry 6 of them slung to your body, then what do you need 15 for? And then they're taking that definition of bear to the nth degree. And I mean, there's all kinds of different angles that they come at with this stuff to kind of try to discredit it, I think.
To me,
that's what they're trying to do.
To me, bear means like take up, the right to bear, the right to take up arms. Yeah. Not so much the right to carry it, but basically the right to revolt if the situation calls for it.
So here's the thing about that, though. If that's the case, then that kind of nullifies the whole open carry, concealed carry for self-defense argument. However, in that case, you got to say, well, how do I have a legal right to have this on me if the revolt were to happen like now or something? I mean, there's you can just argue this stuff back and forth, and there's so many semantics to it. And I know some people are in it for certain things. Like there's the part of our community is all about self-defense training and concealed carry, and that's what they're in it for. And they're not necessarily in it for the whole constitutional thing. But if they can use the constitutional thing to get that, then they get that. Other people are just in it for target practice. So if they can, and people are coming at it from a whole bunch of different angles. And then you got the antis who are trying to discredit it altogether by perverting what the founding fathers have said, not only in the Constitution, but in letters that they've written before and after the Bill of Rights was written about their opinions on this stuff that back up our side of the argument. So it's a legal mess.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can call regulating hunting for the purpose of conservation a regulation, and it has nothing to do with the Second Amendment. But then when you start regulating what somebody can buy or possess or take to the range to practice with or take to the gunsmith or then that's where it really becomes the infringement. So I think some of the antis get regulations mixed up with infringements because they still think the Second Amendment is only about hunting, and it's not about hunting at all whatsoever. Hunting is just something you can do because it's there.
Yeah, back then, hunting, that's the thing. We look at hunting today as something that obviously some people hunt, they take the food and they eat it and everything like that. But you got to remember, back then, hunting was a much bigger part of people's daily life because you didn't have the vast network of grocery stores and stuff you did back like you do today. So hunting was just a part of life. It was a part of an everyday thing. It was basically like going out to the grocery store.
It was, but the Second Amendment has nothing to do with hunting back then or today.
But
And that's just it.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with that because they weren't even thinking about that aspect at that point because that they would have never said, oh, well, of course, you can't go out and hunt. Why would you do that? That's just what everybody did. That's why when people try and bring up the point that, oh, well, it was about hunting, it had nothing to do with hunting. It was about it was about a tyrannical government and personal freedom.
Just like it's not about collecting. The fact that you say shall not be infringed doesn't imply that you have a limitation on what you can own or how much or where you can keep it on your property, because restricting any of that is an infringement. So if you're a collector and you never even shoot your stuff, you're just into collecting, it benefits you because you don't have that infringement. So I think there's people in the community that aren't so pro-2A that don't realize that if they're not pro-2A, their stuff that they do that they don't feel it's going to really matter, it's going to get infringed on too.
Yeah. Well, we go down that rabbit hole. It's inch by inch. Inch by inch, they're going to take away.
Exactly.
I mean, like you said, hunting, that was just the norm back then. If you think about, like Slim was saying, it was a given. The majority were going to hunt or something, or, just was the norm back then. So.
They never would have thought that anybody would need the right to go out and do that.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is nowadays you get the hunters have their own little thing, and like you said, you get people that segregate themselves into different groups, and that's where you run into the problem of, oh, well, they're gun owners, but they only own guns for hunting, so they could care less about everything else, and they don't realize that it affects everybody.
And that's the thing. I mean, the more and more I talk to people, just like people I see at the range and everything, and I bring up these little questions and stuff. And I try not to. I just stay calm and listen. But you're right. Some of them don't mind that. Oh, it's not a big deal if they restrict this, or it's not a big deal.
Because they don't think it affects their ability to target practice, or to collect, or to hunt, or doesn't affect what they already own.
That and how can I say this? They think it's okay to regulate it. Like here, people are like, oh, I wouldn't want anyone to carry a gun unless they took the 16 hours. I'm like, like talking to you guys the last couple of years, I'm like, and I'd probably felt that way too, but no, I mean, you're $250 for a class, $150 for the license, and you still haven't bought a firearm yet. No, I mean, granted, should you get training? We've gone through that rabbit hole, yes. But is it absolutely necessary, to serve their purpose? They're not doing it for the sake of so you have training. They're doing it for the purpose of they know that it limits more people when you have to spend $500 before you even buy a gun or ammo.
Well, I mean, Roll Call said it on Saturday. He said, look at my guns. They all cost $200. You think I'm going to spend $200 on a tax stamp? That's another gun. And it's the same thing if you were to apply that to training or to permit fees. If it's another $200 or $400 or $600 or $200 every year, yeah. And that was just a good example of how some people look at it. And not everybody, well, that's the whole point of the NFA, right? At the time that they wrote it, a $200 tax stamp was that's a lot of money back then. Today it's not so much.
That was basically what the cost of a Thompson submachine gun. What, $200? Somewhere.
No. A Tommy gun, I think, was like $20 at the hardware store.
Were they that cheap? I thought back at that point they were like
I want to say that, but see, you say, were they that cheap? you might make $20 a month. So think about what you're making right now in a month.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's true. Relative to
I mean, $20 in 1928 was like $4,000 today. And I'm not being specific. I'm exaggerating.
No,
but
no. Oh, I
I
get
mean,
inflation. Yeah,
yeah.
I understand inflation.
So yeah. I mean, let's just say that people weren't out buying these things the way some people are looking at it. Like they were available, but it's not like every guy had a Tommy gun. Even though every guy could get a Tommy gun, not every guy had one. And in a lot of cases, it was just law enforcement or criminals that had this stuff. But it doesn't mean that there weren't any private owners. It doesn't mean it just the ownership and the collecting and the target practice and competition and all that stuff. That stuff existed back then, but not the way it did today.
There was a lot less people actively collecting. You know, the
Plus,
might have a couple
look
guns,
at it.
but
1934, right? In the middle of the Great Depression, you think it wouldn't be hard to pass legislation like that? Because people are like, who cares? I can't even afford to buy one, you know. So what do I care, right?
yeah, and that's exactly
People were a little occupied with the economy at the time. They weren't really occupied with Second Amendment rights.
no.
And that's something that if we want to learn from history, right, Grim, because you're a teacher, if we want to learn from history, we need to look at that, and we need to look at maybe next time we have another slump in the economy, would that be the time that they try to pass stuff because they know that nobody's paying attention because they're all worried about their damn job houses and 401ks, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, just like I said, you talk to more and more people, and they're, like here in Illinois, technically you can't have a high point, or you can't buy a new one in Illinois because it's on a list of, it melts at 800 degrees, they may blah, 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 blah. But it's funny how the majority of the firearms you can't have here in Illinois all cost about $100 to $200.
Well, that's another thing too that we as a community might be able to do something about internally. Okay, if the thugs on the street are buying the cheap guns because they ain't worried about accuracy, they're not worried about keeping it, maintaining it, and they're buying the cheap guns, then despite the fact that not everybody in our community is made of money, maybe we need to try to go away from some of the cheaper guns as a way to go, look, I'm not even buying the same ones that they're using to rob the liquor store. I don't know. I don't know. But now you're asking somebody to, you might as well just be putting a tax stamp on it. So.
And that's the thing.
That's exactly it. Not that I would, but, most of us wouldn't. But, again, it's just back to limiting those that can. And are those the ones being used? No, these guys aren't going to FFLs, and they aren't, I mean, come on. This whole Chicago Rahm Emanuel, come on. They're...
Yeah, I know. It's and to say, all right, when they say, well, a criminal used this in a high-profile crime, so we're going to ban it from the general public because, somebody used it, and well, therefore anybody can. Well, it's the same thing as saying, I guess don't get cheap stuff because that's what they're using. So, no, I don't agree with a limitation like that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's the limitation that now. I mean, I would have thought before, probably years ago, but just being in the chats and talking to you guys, it's like, not that like we all agree with training or not training, etc. It's the point of limiting, like making it mandatory. We've talked about that. I mean, we've killed that thing to death too. It's the mandatory part I don't like. Yeah,
I don't either. And I don't necessarily want to be one of these that goes, well, it applies to you, but it doesn't apply to me. For example,
exactly.
I was talking with a gun store owner in Ohio. He's a Marine like me. He said that they changed the Ohio law, that now if you're a veteran, you don't have to go through the BS training to get your concealed carry permit. He says, even the Air Force does 2 days of firearms training. That's more than the requirement for the concealed license in Ohio. And I'm like, well, yeah, you got a point there. Because the government used to trust me with a machine gun and a 20 millimeter cannon. I think I'm okay to carry around, not to mention my carry gun was an M9, and that's what my sidearm was in the military. So yeah, I think I got this. But then I don't want to be one of these elitists and goes, well, I'm a veteran, therefore it doesn't apply to me. No.
Yeah.
It's just like when they pass these laws and they go, well, the only people that are exempt are cops. And the cops are going, cool, we're exempt, fuck you guys. Right? And it's like, wait, whoa. I think that any gun law they pass should apply to cops. So if they say no 30-round mags, sorry, officer, I guess you're going to put a 10-round in your AR.
Yep.
If they say no hollow points, sorry, officer, no hollow points. If they say you can't carry it in a school, sorry, officer, you can't go into the school with yours. You can't go into the courthouse with yours. You can't go, you'd see the police lose their shit, and they would not be supporting some of these BS laws. I also don't think, because if you say, okay, the police are allowed to be more well-armed than the public, you're already saying at some point we plan to use the police against the public to control the public. But as long as you say the police will always be as well-armed or not as well-armed as the public, then you never, ever present that threat, do you? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that cops shouldn't be allowed to have this stuff. I'm saying we should be allowed to have everything they have. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without, if it applies to one, it should apply to all. You're right. That ban went to all of them. Of course not.
Just like registration. Every time they want to do something to either create a registration, find some way to get a registration, pardon the noise. Okay, they're saying we want a list of who has what and where they have it. And we've been saying forever, if you don't have a registration, then we're never going to fear confiscation. But every time you try to find some way to register that stuff, all it says is one day we're going to confiscate because we got the list. So get rid of any form of registration. When you go fill out a 4473, why do they have to write down the gun, the serial number, the caliber? Why can't they just go, Joe Smith came in today to buy a gun or 20 guns? We don't know. All we know is he got to proceed. Why do they have to put that information? I realize they have to do some digging to get it, but it's not that much trouble. Okay?
Yeah.
The whole point is, all you're trying to do is get a proceed, a delay, or a deny. So why do you need that information? Sure, the bound book in there can say, on this day, gun dealer X sold these guns. And they can go look at the 4473s with that date and go, okay, 6 people came in today and 12 guns were bought. We still don't know who has what, but they still have a way somewhat. It's more work.
Yeah, they could narrow it down,
But it's not like punching up somebody's name in a computer and going, okay, they live at this address and they have all these, And for an anti, they don't get that. They don't get that. They go, what do you got to hide? What do you got to hide? And believe me, I've been on the whole, I got nothing to hide side of it. I get that. When they did the Patriot Act, I was all for it. Why? Because we just got attacked. But when it come up for renewal, I wasn't for it. I'm like, okay, we've been doing this long enough. But my initial thing was, I have nothing to hide, and I really don't. The whole thing is, it's like, okay, enough's enough. I could see how it could be a short-term thing for the safety of the country, but at a certain point, enough's enough. So I could see both sides of it.
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, like you said, just why we have nothing to hide. That's not the point. The point is why do they have to know?
Right. Why do that? What is it going to do? Well, okay. So say they know your address and they know everything that you've ever bought. And what do they need it for unless they're coming to get it later? I mean, seriously. The only time that should even matter is between you and your insurance company if you were ever robbed or your house burned down.
Yeah. They don't need it.
So I don't think that we're being unreasonable with our lawmakers by going to them with certain things and going, look, if you just do this stuff, we're probably less likely to fight you on everything else.
True. That's what drives me, drives me nuts sometimes. It's, I don't know. We explain it and explain and explain it, but they just, they always come back to that also, well, need. It has nothing to do with need, I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole like always, and I don't know. It's just bugging me like here now. We'll see what happens with the one here.
Well, I don't always like to compare other things, and the car thing is always the easiest thing to compare to. But what do you need that Cadillac for? What do you need that Suburban for? What do you need to have a case of wine in your house for? What do you need a 5,000 square foot house when it's just you and your wife for?
What do you need that Mustang for?
Right. What do you need?
Like my Mustang. And Mustang out of this.
What do you need that boat for? Do you live on it? No, you don't live on it. What do you need it for? I mean, you could start getting into people's property. You say, why do you need to go on a skiing trip every year? Why do you need to go on a cruise every year? Why do you need to have name brand clothes? Why do you? This is America. So when you start questioning that shit, that's where you go away from what our country is about. Whether it be a constitutional right or it just be whatever, a fad. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, but people don't see it like that. So sometimes I try to present it like that, but it doesn't always go over so well with me.
No,
I have a tendency to lose my patience with those people because they're so damn ignorant.
Well, they don't get it. Whether it's this or anything else, they just don't get it, because I've seen that also. These billion. Oh, hey, they made their money. Well, yeah, I hate to say they made their money. And they can buy what they want. Why does he need a $6 million house? Well, I don't know. If you look at it as a ratio, they have $1 billion in wealth. What's a $6 million house compared to, I don't know.
Hell, even some of the guys don't care about it.
Okay, so for somebody who doesn't understand someone who believes in the Second Amendment, or somebody who doesn't understand someone who owns and uses guns, you have to find something that they own, they do, they believe in, they stand for, that means something to them that you don't have. And that's where you go. So if you don't have that $6 million house, if you don't have the Roth IRA, if you don't have the expensive car, if you don't take the cruise or fancy worldwide vacation, if you don't, whatever the heck it is, I mean, up to a certain point, I mean, I don't really want to cross some lines and tick off some people by going after the religion, because I'm a religious person, right? But you might even get, because that's guaranteed in the Constitution, right? And especially if somebody's an atheist, they got a real good leg to stand on. If they're going to go, all right, what do you need to go to church for? And then you might run into some problems with that. But I mean, it's the same principle, though, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, America was set up for personal freedom, and that's what people don't. You get people like they get pissed off about that. It's like everything else, whole freedom of speech and everything. And then you get some people on the left that get pissy about what certain people say or what Trump might say, and it's I've had this multiple times where you'll have people that will get pissed off and say, oh, well, they should ban this, or they should do this, and they should do this. And it's like, well, wait a minute here. You're unhappy with the way this country is set up. You're attacking a crucial, fundamental part of what this country was based on, personal freedom and everything. And it's like, if you're unhappy with this, rather than screaming that we're supposed to change the core fundamentals of the country, it's time you go find a different country. And then they get all offended when I tell them to go move somewhere else. It's like, but this is how the country was set up. You're unhappy with how the country is set up, and you have the right to go to another country that's more in line with what you want and live there. But don't expect that we're all supposed to change what we're in this country for one reason or another. Don't expect us to change that just because you want limitations.
Yeah, limitations they want when they want. Because if it was someone else telling them they couldn't, then all of a sudden it's, well, no, that's not fair.
And that's the thing, is it's like, you want limitations on firearms. Well, guess what? We were given the right to keep and bear arms. So no, you want limitations on what people can say and, how they can say it. And, oh, that's hate speech. That's whatever. Well, guess what? We've got the freedom of speech. You don't like it. You're unhappy. You have the right to be unhappy. But if you're so unhappy that you can't deal with it, go to a country that doesn't have freedom of speech. Go to a country that doesn't have the right to bear arms, and live your life and be happy there. But don't scream and demand that everybody is supposed to change because you're unhappy. It's like the tattoo thing. You've never heard anybody that has tattoos sit there and judge someone that doesn't. But I've had countless times where people they see that someone has tattoos, like I've got tattoos or whatever, and you'll get people that get all offended and judgmental. It's like, well, wait a minute here. I chose to do that. I've got tattoos. If you don't like it, that's kind of too bad. I had the freedom to go and do what I wanted.
Well, let's use that for a different point of view, or a different way to look at talking to somebody. Okay, so you have tattoos, and you've had some issues with people who don't have them judging you or something, right?
Yes.
Okay, so neither of my parents had tattoos. I asked my dad, I said, Dad, you're a Marine. Most Marines have tattoos. Why? And he said, son, if God didn't put it on my body, then I am not going to have it, or something like that, right? Okay, so I grew up without that. And I was also told, people with tattoos are either, felons or just whatever, right? Stay away from them. Well, when I was going to school, I don't remember too many kids under the age of 18 having tattoos. Times were different back then. But when I joined the service, I met people from all over the country, and in some places, other countries. And ran into all kinds of people who had tattoos. So then I saw my friends get tattoos. And I still didn't get one myself. I guess it's just because I just didn't grow up with it. And it's just kind of like, I couldn't think of anything good. This is going to be on my body forever. Because what if I changed my mind? Well, my first wife, she didn't have any. All right, no big deal. I didn't find it attractive. Didn't like what. Well, after I got out of the service, I got divorced. And my second wife, she had a tattoo. And I was really attracted to her. And I really didn't. I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this be a deal breaker. And so it kind of changed my opinion on it. Now, I didn't want her to get them covered with them head to toe or something really inappropriate, but I think she got a couple more while we were married or something, and it's just like, eh. And my best friend, he got a couple tattoos. Never thought he would. He grew up with me, and he never expressed an interest or whatever. So, being around other people that had them got me to say, okay, even though I'm still not doing this, I can accept this. This isn't what I grew up being told it was, you know what I mean? So, I divorced my second wife, and my third wife, she's already got tattoos. And by then, it's not even an issue with me. And by then, it's not even, I don't really care because I'm so used to it. But yet, if you roll the clock back 20 years, I'd be absolutely hell no. I'm not seeing a girl that's got a tattoo on her body. Now, what if you apply that same sort of logic to somebody who's never been around guns, have been told their whole life that people with guns are criminals and evil, that only the police should have guns, they don't understand guns, and you get them to see that, hey, I've got guns, and I'm no threat to you. I'm your friend, I'm your neighbor, I'm your coworker, I'm your whatever. And then, before they know it, they find somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. And years and years and years or decades go by, and after a while, they just start to accept it as normal. And even though they still don't want to own a gun themselves, they suddenly don't feel threatened, or they don't judge these people who have guns. You see how it's this, same sort of thing?
And that's a great point, is, the freedom to choose. And like I said, if you don't want to own guns, you don't have to own guns. Not saying that everybody should. I think everybody should, but you don't have to. That's the difference between military schools and, the fundamental part of this country. But, like I said, you get the people that they think just because they don't want them, that no one else should have them, that's when you run into the issue.
Well, that's just it, though. Because they grew up that way. They were always told that by their parents. They were told that by their grandparents. They were told that by the people at school. They were told that by their pastor at their church. They were told that by all the people that they looked up growing up. Or they just didn't have it around, even though it's kind of weird. I'm into guns, and we never had a gun in the house when I was a kid. My parents aren't anti-gun. They're just not. My dad's too cheap to buy one. So, he's got like a commemorative lever action that, one of the ones that functions, but you're not supposed to shoot it. Yeah, he ruined the finish on it. So, and he that was in the house off and on, but for the most part, it was always stored in another state at his parents' house. So, we really just didn't. So you would think I'd be totally anti-gun, but no, I decided on my own to do it. But the whole thing is, I was never told guns are bad. Only the police should have guns. Only the military should have guns. Only criminals have them. So I was never, but I was indoctrinated with the whole tattoo thing. So you can see how it took me, I was probably 24 years old before I got to a point in my life where I said, I'm probably never going to get a tattoo, but I'm okay with people who have tattoos. So, if you've got somebody who is young and their parents are anti-gun and their school teacher's anti-gun and their college professor's anti-gun and their boss at their job is anti-gun, and this is until they get around people that are pro-gun that make them feel comfortable and make them realize that everything they've been fed their whole life is a load of shit. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
And that's why education, like the schools that used to have, rifle classes and stuff like that in school, where they would teach you the importance of gun safety. Look, it's a tool just like everything else. It's just like taking a shop class or something, and they've taken that all out, and they're trying to remove, and I forget the one politician they have like on record saying this, where we've got to get it out. We've got to get it. The media says guns are bad. We've got to get it out there that guns are bad. We've got to remove people further and further away from guns so that they're more and more foreign to them, and that it goes from, back when the Second Amendment was written, the average person hunted, the average person owned guns and used them on a daily basis, to where, much like hunting, now people see guns as something that, oh, well, you only need a gun if you go hunting, or you only need a gun if you're a cop, or you only need a gun if you're a competition shooter, and people don't see the purpose of a gun as a tool, as an everyday item.
Yeah. And what's funny is our parents and our grandparents grew up with a gun in the house. They grew up at a time where everybody had a gun, or almost everybody had a gun. And maybe it was just like what you're saying, just for hunting or something like that. But it was pretty commonplace. And then at a certain point, something just changed.
They were talking about the one internet thing where it was like, 30 years ago, somebody having a rifle rack in the back of a pickup truck with a shotgun or something was normal. And nowadays, if you see someone driving down the road with a rifle rack with a shotgun in the back, you know, they're lucky they don't get pulled over and everything, or
Yeah, they
somebody,
freak out.
Yeah, freak out. Or they were talking about the one guy. The joke was, I think, you know, like 30 years ago, if, you know, somebody pulled into the school to pick up their kid and there was a rifle rack in the back of their truck, you know, usually the principal might see it and they'd be sitting there and, you know, he'd bring his and they'd sit and show off each other's guns. And now here we are today where somebody pulls into the school parking lot with an unloaded shotgun or something in a rifle rack in their window, and next thing you know, the fucking bomb squad's on the way because everybody freaks out.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. They've removed guns out of the everyday life of the average person as much as possible.
Yeah, and even, you know, even the toy guns, like, I know some places, like even Chicago here near, you know, out there closer to city, you know, like BB guns. Can't have BB guns. Not allowed in some of the little towns or cities that surround, you know, Chicago there.
Well, some of that, okay, I think everybody should have BB guns growing up. BB guns are awesome. I can kind of agree with some of the ones that look really realistic because I know people have gotten shot because of them. But
yeah.
no, I think everybody should be allowed to have BB guns and Nerf guns and all that because, especially growing up, being outside and, you know, shooting at stuff with your BB gun was fun as hell. But I can understand making it that they can't look exactly like a real, you know, Glock or whatever. But no, you should be allowed to have BB guns no matter what.
Yeah, but that's the point, is they go down that rabbit hole of not having any, no matter what they look like. You know, it just back to the same thing, like exposure. You know, you didn't play with any guns when you were a kid, and, well, I doubt you are when you get older.
Exactly. They've taken it out of societal norm.
Yes, there you go.
And people grow up and go through their whole life and they've never seen a gun unless it's on a cop or in a movie. And that's the problem. I mean, growing up, we had guns in the house, and of course, my parents, I mean, the first time I fired a gun, we had guns in the house from the day I was born. The first time I fired a gun, I think I was 17 or whatever, and that was because a buddy of ours had come into the state, and we went to the range, and my father finally took me out shooting, but my father was kind of a big fud, and yeah, it's like up until I'm late teenager, I'd never even held or fired a gun.
All right, guys, I got to jump out. I got the 2A Tuesday link.
Oh, wow. What time is it?
It's 9:43 here.
Damn.
So,
same, almost 10.
Yep. The abortion show. Been waiting for this one.
Yeah, this is going to get a little
Oh, that's going to get interesting.
It's either going to be really interesting or it's going to be a wah-wah. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah,
if that's
it depends who shows up.
If that's anything like Matt's one with the All Right, that'll be interesting. That one was rough.
All right, I'll catch up to you guys later.
That's it.
Yep.
All right.
I'm going to bounce in a minute here.
Yeah, I gotta go out and empty trash cans and do paperwork.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my little ones to bed here if it's that time. If they haven't gone, it's been quiet, so hopefully they're already in bed. So,
if I've learned one thing, I don't have kids, but I've learned that sometimes if it's real quiet, it's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's usually not a good thing, but I think they're probably on the couch asleep. Before I came downstairs, it's like, hey, quiet. But no, they're pretty good. Yeah, but you're right. Usually if they get quiet, they're getting into other stuff.
Remember growing up, usually if you were trying to be super quiet, it's because you didn't want anybody to know what you were doing.
But with these four, it's hard for all four of them to be quiet totally unless they're watching. I think they're watching Infinity Wars. Probably that's what they're probably watching again. So all right, I got to bail too. So Slim, catch you later.
See you, man.
Hopefully I can watch Sandhills here in a little bit.
Yeah, I might have that running while I am working. I want to hear that.
Yeah, that's what I might have to do. So I'll catch you. See you later.
See you, man. See you, Fry Cook.